G'day, Dark Realmers. Hey, is your funeral insurance up to date? Because you may need to check it after this. G'day, Dark Realmers. It's horror author and illustrator Michael J. Elliott here with you again once again. And today we're looking at a book, and it's a fantastic book by a good friend of mine and a terrific author, A.L. Mengel. And it is, well, if I can get that up there, maybe zoom out a bit, The Mortician. And this is fantastic. If you love a good paranormal mystery and stories that are both creepy and have you trying to guess the outcome and some of the twists and turns, you're going to love this. Now, the main character in this story is Jacob Benjamin, and we pick up the story where he's at his grandmother's funeral. And Andy is brilliant at building up this scene and getting us to really feel this young boy's, incomprehension about the whole thing about death. His grandmother's in an open casket and he thinks she's asleep and he wonders whether he should go up and touch her. And it's very palpable. It's you're thinking, oh, is he going to touch her? And we get a very strong feeling of, this young child. He doesn't understand what's going on. But it's a perfect catalyst for the start of the book because the whole grandmother funeral scene is the catalyst that starts Jacob off on his lifelong fascination with death and what lies beyond. And he enrolls in university with some friends he's met growing up, and we get a brief introduction to them to study parapsychology. And the other sort of main character, you could call it, in the book is actually the Waxley funeral home, which has been abandoned and it's in ruins, and it's a local focal point in the town for every town has one or potentially has one, the haunted house, or this is a scene where X murder happened and whatever. And we get a really good story within a story, because the story tells us that the home, the original owner of the home, took on, or not so much an apprentice, but took on someone, Ned McCracken, who became, the funeral owner and director when Mr. Wexley died. And then he just suddenly disappeared, and that's when the whole place fell into ruin. Now, Jacob wants to explore this and find out why. Is there some clue there? Why did, Mr. McCracken disappear? Where did he go to? Is there any clues in that rumbling, crumbling, funeral home? Now, exploring a funeral home, even when it's all, like in the best condition, it would be scary as F at the best of times. Okay, so you can imagine how Andy builds this up to give us a really good, strong sense of the decay and the ruin and everything like that. Now, he asks his professor, for permission if he can do this, because he's actually doing his thesis on this very topic. And his professor, who I think his name is Greg from memory, I think it's Greg. Yeah, it's David. Sorry about that, Dark Realmers. But David says no. no, the university won't give us permission. And Jacob turns to his two friends, Susan and Daryl, and says, well, are you coming with me? Because they're both enrolled at the university too, and they both have a fascination with death. Although Susan's is a little bit more creepy. And what happens is that they and ah about it, and, you know, Jacob says, okay, I won't go. Well, we know full well that he's going. And this is where the story takes off, because David, his tutor, actually goes there because he knew that Jacob was going to go regardless, come hell or high water. And what we find out too is that David actually, studied this house when he was a student, and he's looking for a secret, something that he knows about. And it's brilliant. You sit there and you think, what is this secret? Why did this guy just disappear? And then we time shift, and we do it. Andy does it really, really well. So you're not jolted out of the present. You're actually, we're getting the story of the museum, of Mr. Wexley, of Ned McCracken, who is a brilliant character. And there's a mystery. There is a crematorium chamber number 7. And, Mr. Wexley says that must never go out. It must always remain alight. And straight away you're thinking, why? And then when Mr. Wexley goes out at really odd times of the night and brings in bodies for disposal, which isn't in the normal manner of how things are done. Now you have to remember too, this is where it's really great, because the backstory of Mr. Wexley and the funeral home is set up in a time when funeral homes were very, very new. It was a totally new concept. Up until that point, or still around that point, funerals and funereal arrangements were carried out in the home. The bodies were put in the coffin at home and people mourned and so forth. The whole concept of having a home, a place where you could pick your coffin and you could go and you could mourn, and there was a chapel, that was all totally new. And Andy sums up that era brilliantly. And so we get the story of Ned, and his father was actually a mortician himself, and so he used to help out as a child in his father's funereal business. So I can't give you any spoilers, of course I can't, because then you wouldn't be reading it. But he crams so much into this, Andy, that you're totally immersed in the backstory of the funeral home and in its glory days, basically. And within that, which is just scrumptious, it's visually very scrumptious. You get such a good feel for the 1930s or late 20s, early 30s, when we pick up the backstory of the museum. But into that, A.L. Mengel really carefully weaves that mystery. And when we do go back to the future, and once again, we're not jolted back out, as I said, it's all very seamless. Andy is very, very good at doing that, so that you never feel, oh, I was just getting into that, oh, bugger. Very good at that. There's, the sense that, the friends of Jacob, they know there's this mystery there. Now, I can't tell you, the urgency about it or whatever, but it will absolutely blow you away. And I got to the end and I just went, wow, I did not see that ending coming. Honestly, truly, I did not see it coming, and you will be the same too. And what's nice is in this book, there's very, very subtle but very powerful references to characters from Andy's other books, like The Blood Decanter. So Antonine, I think that's how you pronounce him, and I'll just say, you know, the undead, perhaps, without giving too much away. Okay, but this sort of ties in, and this character, or a character like this, has appeared in those other books, and this is like their story. This is, you know, we get to see their function and why they feature in books like Tales of Tartarus and The Blood Decanter and so forth. So I can highly recommend that to you, Dark Realmers. Now, Andy asked me just to point out to you that up until, I think it's the 31st of October, which is Halloween, of course, perfect timing, that you can obtain a copy of The Mortician on Amazon on Kindle for just 99 cents, and that is a bargain. I mean, Andy sent me this copy and it was totally unexpected, you know, I just was blown away by his generosity. And so I really urge you, that's probably a bad word, but I really do encourage you to pick up a copy of this. Now, you don't need to have read anything of Andy's before to really enjoy this, you know, and it is a good stepping stone to the other characters, and he's you know, working on some more in this vein, so I really look forward to those. So there you go, Dark Realmers. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you have, don't forget, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, and help the Dark Realm Diaries grow. And you know, leave a like and share, because that's hugely appreciated. All right, Dark Realmers, well, that's it from me, horror author Michael J. Elliott, saying until next time, if you're going to go to a funeral and look at open caskets, make sure you do it when the lights are on. Bye for now.